Senator Gold, last week, many of us stood in this place to pay tribute to the victims of the horrible murders of James Smith, Cree Nation and Weldon in my home province of Saskatchewan. But the victims in this terrible attack deserve action, not just words. Last weekend, Global News produced a lengthy and alarming article in which we learned that Skye Sanderson, the wife of one of the perpetrators, called 911 on her husband Damien and his brother Myles 24 hours before the murders began. According to the article, Skye believed, quote, the only way to stop them from doing something stupid was to get them both locked up, quote. Her, quote, pleas fell on deaf ears. RCMP members arrived and returned to her car to her, but did not do enough to locate Damien and Myles, despite the pair's outstanding arrest warrants. 24 hours later, 10 people were dead, 18 people were injured, and the Sanderson brothers were prime suspects in one of the worst mass killings in Canada's history, quote. The RCMP refuses to answer questions about this shocking new information. Senator Gold, will the Trudeau government demand that the RCMP provide the answers these victims, their families, the people of Saskatchewan, and the whole country deserve?
Senator Gold.
Well, I'll have to make inquiries as to, in response to your question, but I would say, Senator, first of all, and it's never, one can never too often express our condolences and sympathy to the families and communities who are still grieving, and I know that's shared by everyone here. Policing in Indigenous communities is really critical. It can mean the difference between prevention and tragedy, and that's why the government is co-developing legislation to recognize First Nations and Indigenous policing as an essential service. The government is scaling up its efforts. It's providing over $181 million for Indigenous policing services in 426 Indigenous communities across Canada. This is all part of its effort. Nothing can take away the loss of life or the tragedy that occurred. One hopes that this is a step in the right direction.
Senator Batters.
Senator Gold, there is no way that these victims should have to wait for months and potentially years for answers to these questions. Myles and Damien Sanderson are dead, and they won't be judged in a criminal public trial. Some questions about this case will require a more detailed response and process, but there are other questions that need to be answered now. The entire province of Saskatchewan was terrorized by these killings for days. The public needs reassurance and peace, and the RCMP has a responsibility to give Canadians confidence in their safety. When will we get these critical answers, and what immediate steps is the Public Safety Minister taking with the RCMP to ensure that this never happens again?
Senator Gold.
I will make inquiries with the Minister and the Department and report back with answers when I receive them.